Hello everyone, my name is Claire Ledevick, and today I'll be talking about children's television as a form of public pedagogy, with Disney as my main focus. I'll be analyzing how TV doesn't just entertain kids, but it actually can teach its viewers values, identities, and ideologies that aren't immediately visible or noticeable to people just watching. It's mainly just seen as entertainment. So when we think about education, we usually think about kids going to school and learning in a classroom. But media studies remind us that television functions as public pedagogy. What this means is that it teaches lessons outside of the classroom, which shapes how we inherently understand the world. And this is why genres are very important here, because they each genre teaches something different. So news teaches us about, politics or things happening in the world. Reality TV, teaches us about like success and conflict and how to handle that. And children's television often teaches kids about identity and culture, things like this. So my thesis for this is children's television, especially Disney, functions as a powerful form of public pedagogy, teaching kids lessons about consumerism, gender roles, and cultural values while appearing to be harmless entertainment. So let's dive right into it. So I want to talk about a few different theories. First is constructed reality. So television does not reflect reality, but instead constructs it. So Disney chooses what kinds of families are reflected. Heroes and Princesses, the show that shapes how kids imagine the world. So I chose to put in the Incredible Family to kind of show, they depict this family, how they should be, how they should operate as a family unit. Second is ideologies. So these constructed realities contain values. For example, Disney princesses, the stories, they often highlight traditional gender roles. So they're showing girls who aspire to be beautiful and kind, and it's very romantic, and male characters are portrayed as active heroes and protectors. And this constructed reality communicates long-standing cultural ideals about family, about character, about how we should grow up to be. So this kind of teaches kids normal and desirable things for them to admire and aspire to be when they grow up. Third is media functions through discourse and symbolic signification. So kids learn what is quote-unquote normal, or what is different, and what is valued through the signs and symbols on the screen. So I put a little picture of like all the little symbols that are kind of like the main focus for a lot of these Disney films. So, like for example, the Drink Me little bottles that Alice drinks. That's like, oh my gosh, that is the primary focus in that. Or the coin, oh my gosh, or in Ariel, her voice, trapping her voice in the shell, like that is that is valued. Her voice is beautiful and valued, and anyways, it teaches them stuff like that. And finally, the political economy reminds us that media is not just art, but it's a business. Disney is a global corporation, so children's television is it's connected to toys, merchandise, theme parks. The economic system shapes what is produced and how kids interact with this. So brings in money. Okay, next, I want to talk about the documentary Mickey Mouse Monopoly. So this film highlights how Disney hides ideology beneath the surface of innocence. The film quote says, "Disney constructs an image of innocence that hides powerful messages about race, gender, and consumerism." And I think that's a perfect example of how ideology works. It looks harmless, but it's, it has a lot of deeper meanings. It's deeply political. There's a lot of underlying things. And let's look at gender. Princesses, in films, they reinforce patriarchal messages about beauty, about being thin, and passivity, and they're rewarded for being that way, while male characters are often portrayed as strong and the hero and very active. And so this is a constructed reality that naturalizes and normalizes gender inequality. Okay, and then in terms of race, we can see like many sidekick characters. I put on the screen some pictures of Sebastian and the crows from Dumbo. They're kind of racially coded for comic relief, and this represents symbolic signification. It teaches kids racial hierarchies in subtle ways. And finally, consumerism. I put some pictures of the Disney stores on there. Consumerism is everywhere. Disney ties TV shows to products like clothing and toys and backpacks, even like fast food, shakes and themed things. Kids aren't just viewers, they're also consumers. So this reflects the political economy of media, where entertainment is directly tied to profit. Okay, and let's see next. So what are kids actually learning? What does this mean? What are kids being exposed to? So first, they learn lessons, like I mentioned earlier, about gender, about race, about class. So boys are supposed to be strong, and girls are supposed to be beautiful, and certain cultural groups are represented as kind of like the sidekick or the others, or they're kind of pushed to the back lines. Second, they learn to normalize consumer culture. So their identity is expressed through buying Disney products, and this is public pedagogy, teaching consumerism as a way of life. So having the newest princess that just came out, or having the dress, or that's all part of it. Third, they learn that Disney's worldview is the default. Because Disney dominates children's media globally, its ideology reaches across cultures. So I put a little globe on there because everybody across the world knows about Disney, watches their movies, and everybody's learning from what Disney puts out. This is why media literacy matters. If television is teaching us, we need to ask what values are being taught to us and whose interests are being served. So, in conclusion, children's television is one of the most powerful forms of public pedagogy in society. It doesn't just entertain, but it teaches us ideology through constructed realities, discourse, and symbolic signification. So, Disney, as Mickey Mouse Monopoly shows us, uses its political economy to shape the values of children worldwide. It's teaching us lessons about gender, race, and consumerism, portrayed in an innocent way, and by looking critically at children's television, we see that the media is always teaching us something. But the key question is, are we aware? Are we aware of what it's teaching us? We should be. So, yeah, that is the end of my presentation. This is the reference that I used, and thank you for watching. Bye.